It's your boy Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with huge news for Lando Norris after Red Bull statement. Guys, don't tell me Lando Norris would have a possibility of being in a Red Bull car. Honestly, I like Lando Norris so much, bro. And honestly, I feel like if you put him in a Red Bull car, he could really give Max a run for his money. I'm not saying he would beat Max, because I don't know if Max is capable of being beaten. He's on another level right now. I'm saying that if there was anybody, I choose Lando. If I had to choose somebody to compete with him, I choose Lando Norris, bro. I think he's a phenomenal racer. Know what I'm saying? And I think you put him in that Red Bull car beside Max, and it'd be special. I think it would truly be special. And I love Daniel Ricciardo. I think he's an incredible driver, but more importantly, Daniel's an incredibly funny person. He's a great personality. He's awesome. But if I had to choose somebody to be in a Red Bull seat, and if it wasn't Checo, it'd be Lando over Daniel. I just feel like Lando's amazing. But we're going to jump into this. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. What you got?
Lando Norris finished second at his home race at Silverstone on a glorious Sunday afternoon for McLaren, with Australian teammate Oscar Piastri placing fourth.
Oscar Piastri is also absolutely phenomenal.
It's his first podium in more than a year, and a reminder of his obvious talent. Norris has already achieved 7 podiums in his blossoming career, and was recently described as incredibly talented with a bright future by Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton and Norris managed to give the British fans something to cheer about at Silverstone on the weekend, by joining Max Verstappen on the podium at the end of the race. Norris has long been considered as one of F1's brightest talents, and showed why in qualifying, as he narrowly missed out on pole to Verstappen in spite of his best efforts. He even briefly managed to take the lead at the start of the race, before coming home in second place after keeping Hamilton at bay during an intense battle in the closing stages. Hamilton went on to admit that his Mercedes car was no match for the impressive pace of McLaren, who left many people surprised by doing much better than expected. But while Lando was the talk of the grandstands and paddock alike, his agent, Mark Berryman, was deep in conversation with Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko, and Norris's future was surely a topic of discussion. His performance, which came on the back of his P4 at the Austrian Grand Prix, caught the attention of Red Bull. Marko has explained in a recent interview that the British driver would suit the Austrian team as by far the strongest of the young drivers, as well as noting his strong friendship with their star driver and current championship leader, Max Verstappen. He has a contract with McLaren until 2025, but he is by far the strongest of the young drivers. His youthful nature would also suit him best to Red Bull, and it's no secret that Max and he are good friends.
Oh dang, I didn't know his contract was that long though. Sheesh. 2025? That's still a couple years. Okay. Yeah. Is it through 2025? Or is just once 2025, like beginning of 2025, a contract? I would just love to see him in the Red Bull car. I would love to see him. But contract to 20, a lot of things that happen between now and then. Keep it rolling.
Red Bull team boss Christian Horner also commented on Verstappen's friendship with Norris. You can see he enjoyed racing Lando. I had all the drivers for a barbecue at my house last night, and you see they go straight into talking about moments on track and their eyes light up about what happened here or there or even in Formula 3 or karting. While Verstappen has been dominating the 2023 season, Sergio Perez has struggled to match his pace. Subpar performances in qualifying have hindered the Mexican driver, resulting in just one podium finish in the past 5 races, all of which were claimed by Verstappen. Publicly criticizing Perez, Marko expressed disappointment in his inability to maximize Red Bull's point tally. But while Red Bull have made no bones about searching for Perez's replacement, Marko says for the rest of this season the driver is definitely safe. Although Perez has struggled to get into Q3 in recent weeks, with his last top 10 qualifying position being his pole position in Miami, his 156 points means he is still holding down second place in the Drivers' Championship. And that, Marko says, is enough to guarantee him his seat until the end of the season. We really want to finish second in the Drivers' Championship too. If we change drivers, the points are gone, so for us it's not even an issue. A raft of updates.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I guess I see why they want to replace Checo, but I sit over here and I'm like, dang, he's like second place. Like, it's not like there's other people from other teams that's beating him. So I'm like, why you got first and second? Why the grass ain't always greener on the other side? Is how I feel. And if Checo can consistently get you second, he might not be on pace with Max. That's true. But if he can get you second place in the Drivers' Championship, the grass isn't always greener and putting somebody else in that seat. I would love to see Lando in that seat, but Checo's not performing as well as they want him to, but I feel like he's performing good enough to be second in the Drivers' Championship. So that's pretty great. That's pretty great if you ask me. But yeah, it's gonna be. I feel like you're gonna have a hard time finding someone who can stay on pace with Max, bro. He's not only that car is elite, but Max is just he's elite, bro. He's top tier.
Dates has helped transform the previously recalcitrant McLaren MCL 60. With McLaren firmly the second fastest car behind Red Bull at Silverstone, much talk after the race centered on whether the Woking outfit would be able to maintain this level of performance. However, Norris noted that the car was suited perfectly to the fast sweeps of the Silverstone circuit, and cautioned that the team may not be so competitive at the following races in Hungary and Zandvoort, both of which feature several low-speed corners on which the McLaren is less effective. We're very, very competitive in high-speed corners. We're almost on par with what Red Bull could achieve, and I would say, towards the medium-speed corners like turn 15, I would say we're close to being the best car on the grid.
Dang.
Super high-speed like turn 9, maybe not quite so much, but when we come to the race, we definitely maintain our performance when others seem to take a bit of a hit. But we do have a poor car, I would say, pretty terrible in the slow-speed corners, extremely difficult to drive. We're going to go to a couple of tracks where I'm sure people are going to be saying, what have you done now? How has it got so bad all of a sudden?
He's like, hey, Lando, like, I'm preparing y'all. I'm telling y'all this car, this is great things about this car, but in the future, when you see us slowing down on certain tracks, I'm telling y'all why, right now.
Norris added that while McLaren's updates have helped the team vault up the order, there was still plenty of room for improvement with the MCL 60. A lot of it is track specific. I don't want to get too excited. Good things have come from the upgrade, but there's still plenty of things which are miles away from competing in certain places with Mercedes, and as a whole package competing even with a Red Bull. A lot more work to be done from both of those areas. Red Bull's decision to bring Daniel Ricciardo back to Formula One with AlphaTauri for the remainder of the 2023 season is not only a second chance for the Australian driver, but also a warning to Sergio Perez. Daniel, who lost his McLaren seat in 2022, had expressed his desire for another opportunity in a top car to showcase his talent. Taking a sabbatical in 2023 seemed like the only option, as all the seats were already filled, and he wasn't interested in joining Haas. However, a surprising turn of events saw Nick de Vries being sacked by AlphaTauri after the British Grand Prix, opening up a seat for Daniel. This, surely, is another move by Red Bull to further evaluate the Australian. While the decision to bring in Daniel is partly due to Nick's underperformance, it also serves as a warning to Perez. AlphaTauri's AT04 is widely regarded as the least competitive car on the grid, with only 2 points finishes so far this season. The car's instability on corner entry and subsequent understeer in the middle of corners have posed significant challenges.
So I know that's like Red Bull's like second team in F1. So do they have different engineers and stuff working on the AlphaTauris than the actual, like, the real Red Bull cars? Because that would be the only reason that it would be the least. One is the best car on the grid, and one is the least competitive car on the grid. Like, it's just completely different engineers, and it would have to be. It would have. I hope Daniel does well in this car, though. I hope he can spark a little bit of life out of this car. What life he can. I would think that would be really awesome. But we'll see.
Despite a recent upgrade package, the car's performance hasn't improved significantly. Liam Lawson, a promising junior driver, could have been a viable option, but Red Bull's decision to bring in Daniel indicates their intention to send a message to Perez to either improve his performance or face potential consequences. Marco's public statements and the meeting with Norris's manager put yet more additional pressure on Perez. In Spain and Canada last month, Horner spoke of pressure and how Perez was putting too much of it on himself in his quest to become a champion. He said Perez needed to relax his shoulders, the clear inference, given the substandard performances, being that Perez was struggling to follow this advice. After Silverstone, Horner suggested the main underlying issue lay in Perez's personal psychology. It's frustrating for him that he's having to fight back all the time, but he's just got to sort his qualifying out on Saturday and, as a team, we'll do our best to support him on that. It's just one of those things that I think, as in all sport, 90% of it is in the head, and I think that he just needs a good run and he'll find his momentum again. At the moment he's still running second in the championship and he's extended his lead over Fernando today. So we've got a good car, but we need to make sure that we've got both cars in contention. Perez wouldn't be the first driver to have somehow invented a feeling or vague explanation for why they suddenly cannot perform at the level expected. Equally, Red Bull might yet discover a hidden chassis problem that explains everything. But the fact both Perez and his team boss are talking about a pattern underlying recent events, and Perez is undertaking simulator work to try to alter that pattern, suggests this is something specific to the way Perez is trying to drive RB19. Although Marco has mentioned the talks between the team and Norris, he and Horner have remained adamant that Perez's spot on the team is not in danger at the moment. He's in contract until the end of 2024, so this could be a hint of a potential replacement in the future.
So he still got another year left on the contract to the end of next year. Man, I hope Checo really does start doing better, bro. I really like Checo, and I feel like he deserves that seat in Red Bull. But, I mean, you're only as good as your last race in this sport. I feel like you can be great one day and everybody can be praising your names, and a week later, right, everybody's criticizing you, saying someone else needs to be in your spot. So it's like you got to show up and you got to perform every single week. And I hope Checo gets his groove back, finds his momentum again, because I think he's really awesome.
Norris has had opportunities to become part of the Red Bull family on multiple occasions throughout his career.
Really?
However, the Brit chose McLaren every single time. In fact, he has stuck around even when the team was at its lowest and showcased his loyalty publicly. Now that McLaren has given him arguably the second fastest car on the grid, there is little reason to switch sides.
Fact.
However, as time passes and if Red Bull stays a few steps ahead of the rest of the grid, will Norris reconsider, given he gets an offer from the mighty Red Bull? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos.
Yeah, so it seems like Lando is pretty loyal to McLaren, and it seems like McLaren does everything that they can to keep Lando happy. And now they can put him in, they said, the second fastest car on the grid. Yeah, if they continue to get results, then I don't see a reason for him to change. But I can't wait to see what the future has in store. That's all we got. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. It's your boy D Neal. Out.